Sahanavavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you for the online satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Center of Arcadia. So we are going to start the study circle this week in preparation for the Avatar Declaration Day. You know, we have been doing the Sutra Vahini, which is the commentary written by Swami and Brahma Sutras for the last few months. And whenever there is a special function, we focus on that thing and we study the teachings with relevance to that particular event. So we finished, go back, don't forget the Brahma Sutras. First two Brahma Sutras we finished, Athato Brahma Jijñasa Janmadasya Yataha, and third one also we started. We'll come back and continue that after we finish this. This coming 5 weeks, we'll be doing the Avatar Declaration Study Guide, because Avatar Declaration Day is observed on October 20th of each year, because Swami declared it in 1940, October 20th. So we are going to start on this study guide on faith and surrender, because Swami emphasized this a lot. So even his previous avatar, Shirdi Baba, he used to say Shraddha Saburi, faith and patience or forbearance. In this avatar also, Shraddha Bhakti, faith and love. So both avatars, faith is common. In the previous avatar, he emphasized on the patience in addition to faith. This avatar, the love, because he says faith and love, like you want to communicate with God, you send a letter to God, you want some communicate, you need a stamp and an address. So faith and love are like stamp and address, so that it will reach. So one without the other one, good. So now we are going to start this study guide. Please go ahead, Anupa.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Sai Ram, brothers and sisters. We are starting with the study guide for Avatar Declaration Day 2021. So we start with the quote. I ask only that you turn to me when your mind drags you into grief or pride or envy. Bring me the depths of your mind, no matter how grotesque, how cruelly ravaged, doubts or disappointments. I know how to treat them. I will not reject you. I am your mother. Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 12, Chapter 45. Page 4, Faith and Surrender. Complete faith is most essential if you want to experience divinity. There should not be even an iota of doubt. One living without faith in the divine is like a lifeless corpse. I would relate a story to illustrate the power of faith. A young boy used to go from his village to school, which was in a nearby town. He had to cross a forest en route to the town. Generally, he used to return home well before sunset. One day it so happened that he had to leave the school late in the evening, and darkness had already set in. The boy was afraid to walk through the forest in darkness, and told his mother that he was afraid to walk in the night without company. His mother said, "Why are you afraid? Whenever you are in need of company, shout aloud, calling your brother, he will help you." The boy asked her, "Who is my brother?" The mother replied, "He is none other than Lord Krishna. God is mother, father, teacher, brother, relative, friend, and all. Whenever you are in trouble, don't hesitate to call on him for help." The boy had full faith in his mother's words. Another day, the boy was returning home from school late at night in the darkness. He shouted, "Anna Krishna, brother Krishna." After a few moments, Krishna appeared before the boy in the form of a lad and told him, "Why do you fear when I am here? I shall escort you home." He accompanied the boy to the village outskirts and disappeared. The boy told his mother how the brother helped him, true to her words. The mother said, "He helps not only you, but everyone who seeks his help." From that time onwards, the boy used to call the brother whenever he needed his help, and Krishna never failed to respond. Gradually, he picked up courage. When you have full faith, God will surely help you and make you fearless. People who have faith in God will never be let down, but those who have no faith suffer. Sri Sathya Sai speaks, 1994. Shall we stop here?
Yeah.
So, just a quick thought on the first quote that we read today. I remember Swami's discourse of the difference between the Rama avatar, Krishna avatar, and him. He mentioned that during the former avatars, Avatar Rama in the Treta Yuga and Krishna in the Dwapar Yuga, they had to kill in order to preserve truth and preserve the righteous. So Rama, in order to preserve Sathya, and Krishna, in order to preserve Dharma, had to kill the Rakshasas and the Adharmic demons in those days. But Swami said, if I do that in these days, I have to kill everybody. Because Adharma and untruth has permeated entire society. Everybody has a part inside them, and that will kill all humanity. So I have come to correct, not kill. In fact, if you read his landmark discourse in 1947, he clearly says that he will lead those who have strayed from the straight path to the righteous path and the path of truth. This is why he promulgated the human values, of which Sathya and Dharma are the principal ones. So he's again pointing out here that he will take care of us even though we have fallen. And he's our mother and father. He's all in all, in fact. Going to the first section we read today, faith and surrender, as Dr. Reddy has said before, these are common characteristics between the Shridya avatar and our own Swami in this avatar. Faith has been expounded in almost every major religion, Christian religion, Muslim religion, in the Judaism, all religions, they rely on faith. And why is faith important? Because it leads us to the divine. In fact, as we read last time, the first chapter of the Brahma Sutra, Vahini by Swami, as Dr. Reddy mentioned, was Atata Brahma Jigyasa, which means these are some qualities we need in order for us to start the inquiry into Brahman. And one of those was Shat Sampat, the 6 principal qualities, which are Sama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhana. So Shraddha is one of those 6 qualities of many that is very important for us in order to proceed on the path to Swami, the path to divinity. And this quote here, "Why fear when I am here?" this is one of Swami's favorite quotes. And this is very practical, I think, because in the present situation in the world with the pandemic and COVID, I remember we had conferences early last year when people were expressing psychological issues, psychiatric issues, mental issues. And one of the principal ways that this could be treated was by for Sai devotees. If they have faith in Swami, you have to take proper precautions, but let him handle all of it from there on. And this faith is most important for people to not only lead their life but also go towards God. In fact, in one discourse, Swami said jokingly, when you get on a plane, do you get up and ask the pilot every minute, when are we getting there, or is the plane safe? He said, why don't you have the same faith in God? Let him handle. And that leads to surrender. Those are my initial thoughts. So,
So in the beginning, that little quote that Swami is saying that I'm your mother, because next to divine love, the closest is mother's love, because it's unconditional. Because what is divine love versus worldly love? Divine love is unconditional, pure, and selfless. So the mother's love is closest to that. Everybody has bargain, but not mothers. And Swami's love is not one mother's love, it is thousands of mothers' love, infinite mother's love, Ananta Matru Prema. So, beautiful, even mother, children sometimes go and play and they get their children and their clothes dirty, things happen. As mother says, oh, you are dirty, she takes him, cleans him up, and just takes and puts in the lap, and just showers the love and grace. Same thing, the Divine Mother. So, even though, as he was telling, your mind is dirty, you are thinking negative thoughts, your doubts, your disappointments, your anxiety, fear, envy. So we all go through these various negative emotions. Even though they are negative, that means getting dirty, your body thing, you go to God because He loves you like He has no unconditional love. He just embraces everybody. So actually the example in the epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata, even these demonic people, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupala, Dantavaktra, when they die, people get shocked. Their light goes and merges in the Lord. Because even though they're hating, they're thinking about the Lord all the time. That is His compassion, that infinite love, love for love's sake. So it is the mother's love. Swami says, don't worry, you should trust like your baby trusts the mother, even though the dirty, she runs to the mother and hug. Just go into the lap or the mother's side, and He will take care of the whole things. That is that kind of complete attitude you should have. And then we talked about this faith. In Sanskrit is called Vishwasam, Vishwas. So our Shraddha. Vishwas, Swami nicely plays fun with the words. Vishwas should be your swasa. Swasa means breath. So faith should be like your breath. If you don't have a breath, you're dead. Similarly, if you don't have faith, you're equal to dead. And the whole journey, spiritual journey, and Swami quoted in many times in his discourses, giving the example of Lord Krishna. He says in Gita, first thing is, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparas samyatendriya. That means the man who has complete faith, he will be enlightened, he will get jnana. What is the advantage of that? Jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenada gacchati. Once you are enlightened, when you have that clear knowledge of oneness, you are in supreme peace. Prashanti, or is that peace that passeth understanding. That is what you will get when you absolute faith. That is one. So in life, we are all taking a journey. That is where Dustara Bhavasagara Charanam. We are crossing the river or the ocean. So the other side of the ocean, the shore, is doubts. There is a man, doubt. That is why the famous thing Swami says, doubting Thomas. Even when Jesus appeared, he had doubt, is it really that? He wanted to put his finger and verify. Because that is why he's called doubting Thomases. And Swami said, in that time there was one doubting Thomas. Nowadays Swami says, so many doubting Thomases, they're all all over. Same thing, Judas. Swami says that time there was one Judas, and he says in this avatar time there are many, many Judases. So these people with doubts, what does he say, Lord Krishna? The next story is Samshayatma Vinashyasi. The man with doubts will perish. So if you want to be under complete absolute faith, and he is assured us, so you have that absolute faith, you will be completely fearless. You will have love. When you have absolute faith, you will have love. But this boy, that is why he is a child. Otherwise, if he is a older boy, he would ask, who is Krishna? How do I know he is my brother? He was a young boy, so he has implicit faith in the mother's words. That is what should we have faith? Another thing we should remember. Don't have faith in everybody, then they will dupe you. We all experience that they will cheat you and we all go there. That is why Swami says God is your friend. So just faith, complete faith in God, absolute faith. Next, complete faith in his words, in his teachings. And most third important thing, absolute faith in oneself, Atma Vishwasa, that in your own Atma, because he is the indwelling Lord, he is the Hridayavasi, he is our indweller of our heart. So what should you have faith? That is why you should understand faith is in the Lord, God, faith in the scriptures, because they are the teachings. God and his words are not different. And third, in oneself, it is indwelling God, which is Atma Vishwasa. These three we should have, then you get the enlightenment. So this kind of complete faith is very important. As I said, I talked about doubting Thomas. He is one of the apostles. He was really with closest to Lord Jesus, but he had the doubt. At the same time, there were people. There was a thing when Jesus was in Israel, so he had a centurion. That means like an army captain. So this I shared in front of Swami, so I can share this story. Swami liked it. So what happened? His servant, whom he liked, is like his own son, because once you have some good relation, loyal servant who serves you, you love them. So he loved him so much that young man got very sick. He was dying. He was in deathbed. He was dying. So this man was frustrated. He heard about Jesus, that he makes the lame walk, he can make the blind see, and he can make the deaf hear, and he cures all diseases and drives out the ghosts. He heard all this wonderful thing. Okay, let me try, because this is a Roman guy, Roman soldier. So usually he is a rabbi, Jewish rabbi. You cannot just go like that. But he wanted to try. So he went and prayed to Lord Jesus. He said, what do you want? He says, my servant, who is this young man, whom I love like my own son, is very ill. He is going to die. Please help. Then Jesus, right away, he's the embodiment of compassion, about to get up. You want me to come with you? I'll come to your house. I'll come and take care. I'll cure you. He says, no, don't come. I don't deserve that, because he thinks like untouchable. I'm a Roman soldier. Just say a word. It will be done. Because I'm a captain of an army in a thing. If I say something, hey, guys, go and particularly in a military, in army, they have to do, otherwise they'll be out. Just go and do that. I know, I don't need to verify, it will be done. Similarly, you just say, let that man cure, and it will be cured. Because everything, all these things, forces, angels are under your command. And then Jesus gets, okay, so your faith has cured the boy. Your faith has cured. By the time he finished, he turned around, the people came running from his house of this centurion. Oh, just they were jubilant. This boy got up, cured, and got up. Then Jesus looks around. See, none in the whole of Israel have this kind of faith. He was not an apostle. He was not very close to things, but the faith. Whereas there was an apostle who was there with him all the time in life, but he didn't have that faith. So even with Swami, same thing. There may be people with him all the time doing this. And there may be some people who never have much interaction can have absolute faith. Actually, I saw one guy This was about 35, 40 years ago. He was in the darshan line. He was sitting next to me. He was a devotee from South Africa. I shared this before. His name was Chandrabhan Singh. He's no more. He died. And he used to write poems on Swami and sing. And so the Swami said, "Hey, man from Fiji, how are you?" So again, a few times this was going, I know this guy is from South Africa, I know that. But this guy doesn't say one word. And he keeps quiet, Swami, Swami, Swami. I said, "Why don't you say you are from Fiji? What is the problem with you? You are not from Fiji, that you are from South Africa. He says, no. Swami says I am from Fiji. I must be from Fiji in my previous life, or I may be from Fiji in the future life. Whatever Swami says is absolute truth." That kind of absolute faith, is God's words are more important. We always also heard about the story of Arjuna and Krishna, how Arjuna says, "I believe more in your words, Lord, than in my senses." That kind of thing. Swami said so, it is so. God said so, whether it is Krishna, Rama, Jesus, Shirdi Baba, because they are pure selfless. They don't have any selfish agenda to tell untruth. Every word, whatever they say, remember the one formula for me, whatever the avatar says is truth. Let it be Rama, Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, Shirdi Sai, Satya Sai. And whatever they do is dharma. So even the people question, why did Lord Krishna did this? Why did Rama kill Vali? Why did Swami do this? So you should, because their actions are completely based on love. Whatever they say is truth, and whatever they do is dharma. We should have that complete faith in that time. So this example of this beautiful this boy is to show you should be like childlike faith. The Swami says in spirituality, they said you should be childlike, not childish. Childish is troublesome, mischievous. You should be childlike, because childlike means innocent. That's why even Jesus says in the Bible, those little ye children, if you want to enter the gates of heaven. You should have that complete. They don't question, they don't have doubts, they have that scheming or just a complete love for the Lord and complete faith. So then you enter the gates of heaven. That's a beautiful story, and there's so many of these things we can learn from the scriptures. So next,
page 5. What is surrender? When we try to understand the meaning of the word Sharanagati or surrender, we'll note that in the beginning, Arjuna started asking questions of Lord Krishna, thinking that he is using his own intelligence, his own capacity of inquiry, and his own ability of distinguishing right from wrong. He is thinking that he is using his own strength. Because he relied heavily upon his own powers and thought that his own powers were capable of excelling and exceeding God's powers, he landed himself into a difficulty and was not in a position to decide what he should do and what he should not do. As soon as Arjuna found it not possible to go ahead or even to go back, in fact, when all his actions came to a stop, then he turned to Lord Krishna and said, "I will take your orders. I am not in a position to decide what I should do. I am ready to obey you and carry out whatever you want me to do, and I'll do so with my full heart." Thus, he surrendered his thought, word, and action, and all entirely to God. Such surrender is the lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Summer Showers, 1972. Attitude of surrender. Lakshmana is a superb example of the attitude of surrender. When Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana went to the forest and reached Chitrakoot, Rama told Lakshmana, "I'm feeling tired, and Sita is also tired. It is better we stay here for some time. So I'd like you to put up a cottage in which we can stay for a longer duration, if necessary for the whole period of 10 years. You can put up the cottage in any place of your choice. Hearing those words, Lakshmana felt hurt and bent down his head with grief. Noting this, Sita asked Lakshmana, "Why are you perturbed, Lakshmana? Your brother did not speak anything harsh. Why do you feel so?" Lakshmana said, "Have I ever had any choice of my own? I left my mother, wife, and all comforts of life and accompanied you both to serve. I have surrendered myself to Rama. Where is the question of my choice? The command of Rama is what I want to carry out. While so, how can I withstand the impact of Rama asking me to put up the cottage at a place of my choice?" Rama realized the sacred feelings of Lakshmana and the true attitude of his surrender, and pointed out the site himself. Sathya Speaks, Volume 31, 1998.
I think, Anupam, the next page 6, it is also Lakshmana's story and it's connected. So probably we can relate the both on the same themes because you can read that.
Let me read the next one also. Bad associations cause doubts. When one surrenders according to the circumstances, the devotee becomes subject to some doubts and mental agitations. For instance, in the Ramayana, when Rama and Lakshmana were going in search of Sita, suddenly Lakshmana felt tired and told Rama that he was fed up with the search for Sita and would like to go back to Ayodhya to have a more comfortable time. Rama smiled and said, "Let us proceed. I shall explain everything later." How did Lakshmana, who had previously declared that Rama was everything to him and that he would not live without Rama even for a moment, suddenly develop this attitude? How did this concern for bodily comfort arise? After they had walked some distance, they sat under a tree. That moment Lakshmana felt the pangs of repentance. He realized his mistake, clasped Rama's feet, and said, "Brother, forgive me for what I had said. I cannot understand how this bad thought came to my mind. What is the reason?" Rama then replied, "Lakshmana, the region through which we passed recently was the haunt of Shurpanakha, who used to rest under the tree there. That place was surcharged with all her evil qualities. Those vibrations aroused in you the bad thoughts. The moment you came out of the place, your inherent good nature asserted itself." The lesson of this incident is that people will have to be careful about their association with certain places or persons. Eschew bad company. Be away from places where evil qualities are rampant. The vibrations from a place affect persons who frequent them. Sathya Speaks, Volume 28, 1995. Will you stop here?
Yeah.
So on page 5 and page 6, we covered the concepts of surrender and company. In surrender, this is one of the major topics of this series of quotes from Swami. Swami beautifully points out why surrender is important. Because as long as we do not surrender and we rely on our own senses and our own capabilities, then we give rise to our ego. And that ego is one of the major evils that draws us down. In this case that Swami is pointing out from the Mahabharata, as soon as Arjuna surrendered, then Krishna took over. If we read the Mahabharata carefully, we'll find until that point, it's all Arjuna talking and reminiscing and trying his logic and trying to work out. And then he fails, and then he surrenders. Swami said, similarly, we should always surrender to God and accept whatever He does. But however, I think this does not mean that we don't do our part. We have to do our own part and do that dharmic action and follow truth. And this is why He has given us discrimination, viveka, and to discriminate between right and wrong. But we have to surrender whatever is the outcome, because that is His will, not our will. So as long as we have that attitude that you are the doer, I am the instrument, or I am just the nimitta matra, as they say, just the instrument of action, then everything will be okay. That attitude of surrender again is exemplified by the next example Swami gave, which is when Lakshmana was looking for a spot, when Rama told him to look for a spot, and he considered it as reliance back on his own will. So again, the concept here of surrender, of our Sharanagati, is very important for our spiritual progress, because that is what brings us close to God. And in the last one, Swami is pointing out why company is important. And this is why we do satsangs. This is why we do bhajans. This is why we go on pilgrimages, or we listen to discourses, listen to talks by those who are saintly and good people. In the Gita itself, Lord Krishna says, these are very difficult times, but by repeated practice you can reach me. And how do we practice? We practice through example. Because we have been gifted with senses, all our senses are turned outwards. But if they see good, then the senses will absorb good. So good in, good out. And this is very practical, because Swami says, and this is a quote also, show me your company, I'll tell you what kind of person you are. So to be a good person, we need to be with good company always.
So this this concept of surrender is very important in spirituality. So probably we'll continue this discussion here next week and subsequently. Because people say, oh, somebody was telling, he went to Ramana Maharshi, who said, oh, don't tell me who am I, that path is difficult, and doing selfless service going I cannot do. Oh, this reading scriptures too hard for me, the Vedas. But I can surrender. I just give it. He thought because easy. Then says Bhagavan, that is the last word in spirituality. Once you surrender, there is equal to your jnani. There is nothing, because you don't exist. People think, oh, I give my mind, body, and action, surrender. Lord, I give Dhanamana Dhana, I'll give you. He says, Swami beautifully says, does it belong to you? It doesn't belong to you. Body, mind, I gave it to you, you are giving back. So what is there? To realize that everything is divine, nothing else, that is the ultimate surrender. If you think something still, it belongs to you and giving it, that means you are thinking. So that I doesn't exist in ultimate surrender. And ultimate surrender and the jnana are no different at all. They are completely same. So people think surrender is, oh, I surrender. So anything that is a shortcut, oh, I just give it to Swami, surrender. That is why important means do the best and then leave the rest to God. We need to, Swami says, yatna prayatnam manava dharma. We need to have effort, and sincere effort is our thing. The results are in His hands. But as we talked about, there will be challenges, difficulties, people will be critical, or you may be losing loved ones, or health issues, or family problems, anything. But you need to hold on. That is the challenges, how you do take those challenges. That is the important in the surrender. Here, as we talked about, this is very important. Surrender in Bhagavad Gita, Swami says there are 3 important shlokas. One is the beginning where this Arjuna, like us, when the challenges are there, 2 things happen. You give up. This is too much, because he has to fight. You imagine yourself, you are fighting against your own family members, who are your grandparents, like Bhishma, you have teachers like Drona, your cousins, and all these people are related to you, not distant, close. He grew up with them. Now he's having war and he has to kill them. So he says, it's hard, we are all human. So he just collapses. He says, I would rather go and contemplate on God in a cave. But that is not his dharma. Similarly, when life challenges come, sometimes you get depressed, dejected, forget about it. That is how people go into this alcoholism, depression, go to psychiatrists. But the spiritual strength is just that time, hold on. Because he gave that assurance, you should have faith. He gave assurance, you hold on to me, nothing will happen. Not even a hair of your body can be touched. Yes, people things happen, you may lose money, you may have profit, you may have health issues, anything. That is natural, that happens to body and mind. But still, you are connected to God. That is the important thing. So, he goes on putting an argument, oh, why should I do this? Is it not sinful to kill so many people? And Lord Krishna, beautifully, is always, the answer is silence and smile. That's why this is always, you will never have problems. Silence, you cannot misquote. Smile, anybody who has a problem will be neutralized. You smile, Mita Smita Sundar always smiles, keeps quiet. But then Arjuna realized, he's a good disciple, so he realized his mistake. That is why the sloka Swami says very important in the beginning. Karpanya dosho upahata swabhavaha puchchami tvam dharma samudha chetaha yat shreyas nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasте aham shadhimam tvam prapanna. He says, Karpanya dosha, I'm confused. Like life, sometimes our mind gets foggy, we get confused. I'm confused, I don't know what to do. So because now I have so many doubts. So he says, Uchamitvam dharma samudha cheta. I don't know what is dharma and what is adharma. So now he says, I am your shishya. What does the good shishya does? Implicitly follows the guru. All that time he considered Arjuna Krishna as friend or like his brother-in-law, because he was his brother-in-law. He was married to his sister Subhadra, so that is why his brother-in-law relationship also considered like a friend. So, but now he doesn't say, oh, my brother-in-law or my friend. He says, I'm your shishya. And Shadhimam, he doesn't say, tell me, command me. Shadhimam means command me. Tvam prapanna. These three words are important. I am your disciple, command me, tvam prapanna. I completely surrender to you. That means I don't have you to, whatever you tell, I will do. Just you command me, I will do that. Then only Lord Krishna opens his mouth. Same thing in life. You go on thinking it. There are many examples like Gajendra. You think you will fight, you don't ask God, you are relying upon your own thing, your friends, family and all that, but not on God. God says, okay, do it, he will say. But when you completely trust on him, then he comes in the picture. Like same thing with Lakshmana. He says, when he says, go and put it in the hut. This is the more beautiful example. One is from Mahabharata, another is Ramayana. Go and put the hut. There is nothing wrong. Rama said, I want to put it wherever you want. We tell our friends also, what do you want me to? Yeah, you do select your Chiranjeevi, what bhajan. He said, Chiranjeevi, you select, you know what is good. Or like that, Rama, he said his brother because he loves him. But he took it personally. I don't have a will of my own. Where can I do that? That means your will is, there's no will of yours at all. Everything is only God's will. That completely, your will is merged with God's will, not separate. There is a cute story, I remember. It is not a story, it is an incident. It happened for me in Darshan line more than 30 years ago. There was a man sitting in the Darshan. So he had a tray. Those days you could go a tray and put some sweets. And Swami birthday, he will throw the chocolate. And then actually some people after a while, they saw Swami whenever birthday chocolate and put, some people even if it is not birthday, they go there with the tray and put chocolate. They want to cheat. Then after a while, Swami stopped it. So this man, he was going for a job. So he put two cheats. One is, this guy got two offers. One is a offer in the bank and another is as a teacher. Because he graduated. He has one is job offer, he was in a bank, another is in a school. So he has it, whichever Swami picks up, so he will take it. So everybody, more than him, they were all excited. People around, people are interested, what will Swami do? They were more than this guy, they were excited. So Swami came for darshan and did that. And then he came and took the chocolates and threw on people. He didn't take either of the chits. People are disappointed. Then they ask this guy, what are you going to do now? So I'm told, it is easy. Bank job pays more. We'll take bank job. That means Swami, this guy already made up his mind. So if that is what people say, I will do your will if it is according to my will, it matches. Not thine will be done means really completely thine. So completely say that like Lakshmana, that Lord, I will do as per your will. That is complete surrender. But such a great man, Lakshmana, he gave up the kingdom. He went away from the kingdom. He went away from his wife, Urmila. So just his wife just married and he has to leave her back. So he was there, a single, at least Rama even went to exile. He had his wife Sita with him. This man doesn't even have a wife with him, gave up the kingdom and also mother. Everything is sacrificed and sleep. Everything we can give up even food. Who wants to give up even on 2 days you don't sleep? Oh my God, I'm so tired, I want to sleep. This 14 years he didn't sleep. Can you believe that that kind of dedication? This Lakshmana, such a great man, what does he say? When he is going through the place, no, what did I do? I did something wrong. Why should I follow you? Let me go back. Why? Because the influence of the place, demonic. And I can see that whenever you have association with bad people, I see that happening. Wrong people, their vibrations will influence you. Even I saw some good people who are very good. Once they join the bad company, their whole attitude change. They become rude, rough, manipulative. Classical example is Karna. Karna is such a great charitable guy. But once he joined the company of the Kauravas, Duryodhana, he became so bad. So he was rude and he was insulting and part of the humiliation of Draupadi. So this company is very, very important. Not only physical company, even places where you go. You go to a place of worship, temples, or you go to whole pilgrimage, the vibrations are different. So you want to go to Las Vegas, oh, yeah, God is omnipresent, I can think about him. But there, it's not that easy. So people are drinking, gambling. So people like Ramakrishna Paramahansa, anywhere he can be in tune with God. But most of the people like us, body consciousness, depending upon what the place, it has vibration. Like you go into a kitchen, a dining place, you like to eat. You go to the library, you want to read. So the place has a vibration. So you should always be particular about the place you visit and the people you are associated with, because even good people can change. And I saw that many times. They can put because bad people, they can put doubts and they can change your the way of thinking. So completely 3 lessons, so we'll be ending here, is always be careful with the company, ABC of life. So avoid bad company. So you should do that and completely feel God's will, thine will be done, not mine, Lord. And I just I surrender to you. So that my will and your will is not different. You are the one. And then ultimately you realize everything is divine, nothing but divine. Okay, so we'll continue next week. These are very important concepts in our spiritual practices. Sai Ram.